Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Displaying an aggressive lack of cogency. It's the Audience of One show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you tend to get your podcasts from. On today's show, we discuss getting arrested by a small rodent, mistaking a Bible study for human trafficking, and whatever happened to Dolly the Sheep. I am Andrew, maestro of the run sheet, next to the guy who doesn't understand the eco mode on his hybrid. It's Dick, your fingers get smaller underwater. Schisler.
All right, it's not that I don't understand it.
Uh-huh.
It's the fact that I can't set it as a default.
No, I think we don't understand it. Setting it as a default is, yes, very troublesome. But shouldn't a hybrid also just always be in eco mode?
Yeah,
Right? You shouldn't have an eco mode. It shouldn't even be. The whole car is eco.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like getting a sports car and having to put it into sport mode. Like, no. It should always be in sport mode. It's a sports car, however.
That's funny.
After all. Yeah. Did you wrap your pipes and let your faucets drip, Dick?
Yeah.
The cold weather has moved in. That groundhog was not effing around, was he?
Well, you know, it's
he
funny.
wasn't lying. 6 more weeks.
I want to say, like, one of the first shows we did, we talked about how many deaths by icicles a year there are.
Did we?
I'm pretty sure
Sounds
we
like
did.
something
I'm
we would
pretty
cover.
sure we did. What's funny is in the parking garage,
Death
I
by
was
icicle.
leaving the parking garage, and whoever's the maintenance of the parking garage, it's an outdoor parking garage, by the way, and they were releasing all the pipes, and I guess they did it yesterday. Because there was a giant icicle, I would say about as big as a Major League Baseball bat, just hanging.
Wow. Impressive.
And I was like, that can't be safe. Like, it is giant, and it's just up there in the ceiling. And I'm going, that just can't be safe. And then...
you said release the pipes. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to use that one. Excuse me, I got to release the pipes.
Yeah, we covered everything, and actually, I just got a text from our mutual buddy. He wanted me to come over because he had to get they had palm trees.
Oh, yeah, I covered mine up. I have some small
They
palms.
bought a special greenhouse for it.
Oh,
I think they lost a couple, and they're
Yeah.
like, we're tired of this. I'm
yeah,
like,
I lost 2 of them back in 21.
And I go, why would you even have palm trees in the first place?
I don't know why. Well, it's not supposed to get cold here, although it has in the last several years, multiple times.
I like it, though.
Yeah.
I was actually having a conversation yesterday with a young lady. She was complaining about how cold it was. And I go, at least it's not 90 degrees for 4 weeks straight. Like, if anything, we should be grateful that
At this time of year, yeah.
We're
true.
having an occasional 20-degree day.
I suppose she's right, but I'm not going to wrap my pipes up anymore. I'm going to toughen them up, teach them a lesson so they get used to the cold weather. Yeah, because, I mean, if we keep babying them, well, then they're never going to get used to it.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Toughen those pipes up.
But, yeah, you know, I did everything. My dad called me, and he was worried about the plants, and that was an adventure, trying to figure that out. And then...
Yeah, so I was out of town earlier in the week, so when I got in, I didn't have much time to cover up everything. It was already getting cold. In fact, it was right at freezing as I'm out there.
I feel like it was colder
wrapping
yesterday than it
everything
was
up.
today. And
It's because it was the rain, probably, I guess.
it was
I don't
supposed
know.
to be colder today. Because yesterday was in the 20s all day. But then today it was like in the mid-30s.
No, it's because the sun came out, I think. Yeah.
But,
So I got thinking about that asteroid we talked about last week, the one that was going to hit Earth. I don't think society is going to handle this too well, by the way. And I feel like you and I, Audience of One that is, should get out ahead of this and start selling asteroid T-shirts.
no,
Because they say there's like a 2% chance that it's going to hit the Earth, which, you know, we argued whether or not that was a high percentage. But I think we could sell like I'm a 2%er type T-shirts and something like that. Yeah, man. Got to be thinking. Always be thinking.
Well, what's funny to me, I was thinking about our last show talking about it, and with technology today, there's always like a a countdown clock, or you can go to
Doomsday clock.
But what's funny to me about this specific idea is there's asteroids coming to Earth, right?
Yes.
There are so many smart people that can figure out, or hypothetically figure out where it's going to land. So you can imagine on the Doomsday clock, it says like Egypt, and then in like 2 weeks later, it's like Amsterdam, and they're like, oh, wonder where's it going to hit?
And if they can ever lock down on it, people are going to be traveling to that site and looking up like Trump at the eclipse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, get me.
And no, I like it. I like the idea of people not knowing, like, is it going to be them? Is it going to be you? And then you have to think about the reaction of being hit. So everything surrounding that area is going to be somewhat.
Oh, it's going to be. They said it's like the size of a house, so that could do some damage. I don't know if you and I are going to be around on this planet in 2032. Hopefully we will be. But I'd like to see it, man.
That's when it's coming, right?
I think 2032 or 2034, one of those. It's not too far off. It's going to be great.
Wouldn't that be wild if that becomes the norm?
Yeah, all of a sudden we just start getting indented with these things.
Well, it's kind of like when people,
most of them burn up in Earth's atmosphere,
but like,
prior to entering.
You know how people in Texas, or especially where we live in Houston, people who are new were like, oh, you have hurricanes? Oh, you have this? And you're like, yeah, this is kind of a normal thing. It happens.
Beauty of being on the coast.
Oh,
yes.
yeah, like Louisiana, same thing. And then it's like, imagine if asteroids become a normal yearly thing. It's like, hey, it's that time of the year. We're watching out for these asteroids.
Cover up your plants and cover up your pipes. We got some asteroids coming in tonight.
Yeah, you're selling the cellars that can withstand a stage 4 asteroid.
Asteroid sellers.
And it's just like, that would be that would be so funny to have that conversation. You're like, hey, just so you know, we're like, they gave us a 30% chance this April to be hit by an asteroid in this area. So
and the weathermen never know what they're talking about, man.
They never know.
We were all prepared last year. Nothing.
Yeah, it was just dust.
Yeah.
But no, I think that would be a wild conversation to have. And, because I was thinking about the apocalypse scenario that we always talk about.
You are always thinking about the apocalypse, aren't you?
And I realized no one budgets their apocalypse gear for a party.
Yeah, there should be a certain percentage of it that is allocated to throwing an apocalypse party.
Well, because I have these great dreams, like lucid dreams, and like usually in my apocalypse dreams,
is this where you drain the pipe?
No, this is where I all I care about is finding Copenhagen.
And not the city in Denmark.
Well, no.
Okay.
It's like that. That's my biggest concern. Where you're like, oh, we need food. We need to find canned food. Like,
I have a feeling this is real life, by the way.
Oh no, and I realized, like, yeah, I would probably be that guy. I'd be like, oh, like we got food to last us a year. Well, Richard traded it all for what? 2 rolls of Copenhagen,
2 logs of Copenhagen, but it's long cut, man.
Yeah. Oh, I hate that. Ugh. And it's so funny to me because it's like, oh, that would really suck not to have Copenhagen. And then, yeah, it's just funny. That to me is a good joke I could tell myself. Like, what would you sell your soul for? A roll of Copenhagen. Yeah, like I sell my body. So, by the way, speaking of Copenhagen, I don't know if you ever tried those Zins.
I have not, but they are very popular.
The nicotine pouches.
I know what they are.
They are insane.
I don't need to get addicted to something that I'm not already addicted to, because I feel like if I were to try one of those, I'd say, yummy. Now all of a sudden I've created a new addiction in my mid-40s.
No, well, like, see, I enjoy Copenhagen, but then when I tried those, I was like, it just knocks you out of your chair.
Well, they have different strengths.
Yes, but whatever I had was very strong. I go, I don't like that. I'm going to go back to my Wimp one, the Wimpy original.
I'd be curious what milligram you tried.
Well, I've tried one from, this is probably half a year
Switzerland.
ago. Yeah, Switzerland.
That's where all the good
like,
stuff's from.
It was like 18 milligrams or 15.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I believe the starter is like 2 and 3 milligrams. And 6 is considered a hefty dosage. So if you're doing 18, you went and saw the other side.
Yeah, and I don't like it. And I was like,
oh my God, is this an asteroid coming?
Well, I was like, man,
I'm hallucinating.
I thought Copenhagen was bad. Like, this is just next level. It's like a stimulant.
No, I've never tried them. I know it's extremely popular.
I wouldn't try them.
Well, why don't you just try lowering the dosage a little bit, man?
Maybe I'm gonna stick
might
to
be better
Copenhagen.
for you than the tobacco.
I'm going to stick to Copenhagen.
Okay, then get off my case, bro.
But no, I was
but I haven't tried it.
I was asking you because that was completely different. I was like, this isn't the same thing.
But I think over there in Switzerland or Norland, wherever, they have all the different flavors, which makes them more popular. For whatever reason, here in the United States, we limit it to like wintergreen and, I don't know, spruce or driftwood, and that's like it. That's it. I guess the thought is if they make it too delicious, they feel like they're marking it towards children. Even though it's mostly teenagers, boys that are doing this. I have a feeling it is rampant on the high school baseball fields these days. If I had to
Vapes?
guess. Not vapes, but the zennies.
I can see that because you can conceal that stuff so easy.
It's concealed, but it's and you don't have to spit. You can swallow it, right?
Yeah. It's just like powder.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Did you have a nice Valentine's Day weekend?
Bro, so much sex.
Yeah?
It was incredible. So much. So tired, man.
Yeah. Did you tell her my joke about the Porsche Spider? And the only way you could drive it is you have to take a blue pill?
Oh, Spider car, that is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
no,
Porsche
I did not.
4000.
I omitted that from my line of humor.
Yeah. Well, that would be hilarious. That's what you tell your significant other. Like, oh, it's Valentine's Day. What'd you do for me? Oh, I'm going to be taking a blue pill every 6 hours. That's what I'm doing for you.
Getting it on, man.
And
speaking of getting it on, no, this isn't speaking of getting it on. Have you seen, Dick, the price of eggs these days? I know
Yeah.
it's been all the rage. It's been all over the news. They've been really high for several weeks and or months now due to the bird flu outbreak, and they decided to annihilate like half the chicken population.
What's funny is I have an egg connection, so I don't pay
You got
for
a
eggs.
cheese guy and an egg connection.
Well, it's our mutual friend's father-in-law. And
Are
he
the eggs
He
brown?
lives in the neighborhood of my buddy, and all I have to do is go over there and get.
You're so underground, man.
Like they have so many eggs.
Hey, man, you got some eggs for me,
It's
bro?
really pretty ridiculous. But that's what his retirement is.
The thing
that's
is,
what he
if you
loves.
have
That's what he loves to do is hang out like literally with the chickens. Oh, it's hilarious. And he just because one time we found a possum in there, and we were trying to get it out. That was almost like a comedy skit right there. Just like you can imagine 3 grown men trying to get
Will a possum mess with the chickens? Okay,
but
he just wanted it out of there.
It will disturb the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And plus, it will create holes where things that do want to mess with the chickens can get in. Because he started losing chickens one weekend, and it looked like a bloodbath. It was awesome. There's feathers everywhere.
It was awesome, bro.
But it was like mixed with blood, so they were stuck.
Okay.
Stuck to things, and it looked like I just shotgun blasted like 6 chickens.
Well, we can't do that anymore. Those things are priceless. I am wondering if it is affecting the activities that teenagers do, such as egging houses. Do you think that people are egging houses anymore, or is it just too expensive to do so? It's price prohibitive to do so.
Now it's a rich kid thing.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a status symbol.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we had 24
man.
eggs.
They actually egged our house. Those guys. Well, we know what part of town they're from.
And then, of course, one of the kids who isn't the rich kid, but he's friends with the rich kid, pocketed a couple. So when he got home, like, Mama,
look,
we got some
Don't
eggs.
be mad at me. I egged a house, but look, I brought home some eggs for us to feed the family.
No,
status symbol. You're right, man.
Again, I don't. I haven't purchased eggs, and
do kids toilet paper houses anymore either? I haven't seen that in a long time. It seemed as though every now and again,
you know, it's
you would
funny.
see the house randomly that had the paper going. I haven't seen that in a long time.
So this is what's wild, and I don't because like when I grew up, toilet paper housing was a normal thing in the neighborhood.
Right, exactly.
The current neighborhood I'm in, the fashionable thing is to destroy things. So stop signs, street signs. My favorite are mailboxes because you go on the neighborhood website.
Yeah.
And everyone in the neighborhood has to have a certain type of mailbox, and usually it's brick.
Sure.
But once a week, you'll see like our mailbox got destroyed, and it's just somehow sledgehammered a brick mailbox. And I'm going, how many people are wasted driving around in a broken car now
because they hit a mailbox?
If you hit a mailbox. And I'm like, how do we not know who these people are? Because
you would think it could be kids just beating them with bats, but not brick ones. I wouldn't think.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But somehow they figured it out, and people are.
Yeah, I know my father put a solid steel mailbox, and I mean solid steel mailbox out at our house when I was growing up, and I thought someone's not going to know the structural integrity of that thing and come by and and lose an arm in an attempt to do some vandalism.
They destroy a lot of. They don't do fun destroying. They destroy property. In my neighborhood, so
nice.
What's even stranger is they kill deer, and they don't do anything. They just let the deer die in people's yards. Jesus. So can you imagine waking up and there's like a dead deer with a bolt in its stomach, and it's just like, and you're going like, no, I'm telling you, when you read, I'm convinced everything on Facebook is fake, especially in the neighborhood posts, because when you see the mailboxes, you're like, how does no one know or see this? It's happening every week,
everywhere, yeah.
Every week, someone's like running over a mailbox, but that means your car is totaled So no one sees
At least damaged.
No one sees the car without a front, and
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
leaving the just like okay, clearly that guy hit somebody. But
Clearly.
yeah, I don't toilet paper. One time these girls forked my yard.
Excuse me.
Yes, apparently this is a thing.
Hey, baby, you want a fork?
They got like plastic forks, and they just stuck forks.
Stick them in the ground?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, actually.
And I remember.
Until you miss one and hit it with the lawnmower.
Well, see, at first I thought that was the joke, but they put so many, it's like obvious someone did it. Because you usually get the clear plastic ones, and you just stick like 10.
That's really, hey, joke's on you. I don't like to do dishes, so thanks.
Well, because you're not supposed to be able to see them, so when you mow.
Next time, could you do me a favor and paper plate my yard, too?
And these girls come up to me at school like, oh, did you like it when we forked your yard? And I go, oh, that was you? That was just very inconvenient. Like, that wasn't funny at all. Like, toilet papering's funny.
What's the payoff here?
Yeah, toilet paper is funny. But forking, I don't see the humor in that. And somebody sticky noted my car. That wasn't funny.
Yeah, I've seen that done before.
They were like, "Is that funny?" I'm like, "That's."
It just cost you $400 in sticky notes.
Yeah, I was
great.
like, no,
Cool.
But I've toilet paper in
man.
yards. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I was always afraid I was going to get in trouble or shot or both. So I never did it. Hey, Dick, let's go ahead and kick off the show, buddy, because we have a ton of stuff to get through and very little time to do so. Police in Lima, Peru got very creative during a drug bust on February 13th. An officer dressed up as a capybara in a capybara costume to lure a suspected drug dealer out of his home with the promise of a Valentine's Day gift. So I want you to show this video to the onesies. There's not a lot of content here. This is more of a visual. But apparently this guy was involved in a drug bust, and he had a police officer dressed as a capybara. By the way, do you know what a capybara is? It's it's a small little rodent-looking animal, kind of like a, let's see, maybe like a not a groundhog. What's the little, I don't know, like hedgehog or something.
We're about to find out.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty. We got to get through commercials, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
We could have had it loaded, but why would we do that? But this is hilarious. So if you're seeing the video now, there's footage of this guy dressed up in a costume, and he's being lauded as a great police officer there. But what's interesting about it is he's also wearing a little turtle shell backpack on his back, which I'm not sure what that's for.
That's probably a radio.
But I like this idea because there's nothing more humiliating than being arrested, but especially if you're arrested by a guy dressed up as a small rodent. And we don't do the public square anymore, where we have people out in the middle and they're made fun of or whatever. But I think we should start doing this because highly embarrassing to me. You can see that guy.
No, did you ever see the warrant thing they did for the Super Bowl? Did you ever hear that story?
Sorry, just watch this guy.
Oh, I like it. He's the guy. The officer's committed too.
Yeah, he's did the bit and lured him out with a quote Valentine's Day gift, which is funny.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, what were you saying? The Super Bowl what now?
There was a well-known story about this area. I think the Super Bowl was being hosted in, and the officers were like, "Hey, we're going to do a warrant roundup." I don't know if you ever heard of a warrant roundup, where they just put a lot of effort into picking up people for warrants during certain times of the year. Well, anyway, they did a thing where...
because they know people are home during the Super Bowl.
So they know the Super Bowl is in town, and what they did was they contacted all the people who were on the warrant list with free tickets to the Super Bowl. Like they're a lucky winner. And they even had the cheerleaders and like all this stuff. And it's like
quite an elaborate
event.
event.
And like you have to come to this hotel right across from the Super Bowl Convention Center. We're in room C, ballroom C. And they're like, I think they even filmed some film footage of like everyone kind of coming in gradually and no one connecting the dots that they're all wanted people.
Right.
And right when they all got...
Hey, aren't you the dude who sold me that quarter-pound of weed last week?
And but then like they all got there and the cheerleaders were there.
What's up? You got free tickets too? Awesome.
Yeah. And then they go, nope, you're arrested.
I'm surprised that's not illegal. I'm surprised that somebody's lawyer didn't say that form of entrapment was illegal.
Well, I don't...
Unless they actually offered them tickets. It's like, it's not fake. You can have tickets. But you're busy that day.
It's not entrapment because they already have a warrant out for their arrest.
I guess.
Entrapment is when before...
I just think a good lawyer would be able to get you off of that one,
entrapment
so
is before you're convicted.
Okay.
So it's like...
Seems like you know a lot about this.
Like the bear might be entrapment because...
The capybara?
He wasn't...
It's not a bear.
Capybara, that might be entrapment.
Okay.
Because they haven't caught the guy yet.
Seems like that's an awfully fine line there of delineation between the
Well, that's
two.
why I love if you look at, I think there's a weird stat with fake prostitutes, like the undercover prostitute stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like a lot of those convictions
Continue.
get overturned
I bet.
because they argue the entrapment thing.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Besides that, he enticed me.
I thought she was gonna pay me.
Again, I like the idea of embarrassing our criminals by having people in costumes. In a tragic turn of events, a 14-year-old boy died after injecting himself with a concoction made from a dead butterfly.
Whoa!
Reportedly as part of
That's sad.
an online challenge. You know, Dick, you and I have talked about what we think the next challenge is going to be. We've made predictions, wild predictions, even
What
Jeep
the
rolling.
hell?
I don't think death by butterfly injection was on our list. Yeah, the teenager from Planalto, Brazil, was taken to the hospital after he began vomiting and limping. An odd combination, typically not grouped together, I wouldn't think. According to reports, Davi Nunes told doctors that he had created the mixture by dissolving a dead butterfly in water before injecting it in. Where did he inject it, Dick?
His leg.
His leg. Yay, you're reading. And his condition rapidly worsened, and despite being transferred to a larger facility, blah, 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 he succumbed to his illness. I don't
that's sad.
get this
Well,
at all, man.
Unfortunately,
What's the payoff, and what is he trying to do?
Well,
Look,
that's
bro.
I saw that they didn't have the autopsy report from the toxins. They don't know if it was the butterfly or not. Maybe he just injected himself improperly.
I suppose, but the coincidence would be, I mean, that's awfully coincidental. I injected myself, but it wasn't actually from the injection or the material.
Or it's just bad luck that specific butterfly they got was poisonous.
I guess so. It says the remains of the butterfly, or the species of the butterfly, remains unknown.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the remains of the butterfly. So let that be a word to you there, Dick. Don't be
like
injecting yourself with...
Well, I don't really inject anything.
Yeah, I don't either, man. It's
myself.
scary. All right, man. I got a little song for you. Next segments are about crime. Can you please cue up my crime music? Ow!
All right.
Just sit back and enjoy.
I haven't heard this yet. I'm kind of...
Shootings, murder, and petty theft, exposing yourself. What else is left? Hotel squatting and stealing cheese. Chicken fights. Oh yes, please. Crime. It's everywhere. Crime.
This is my utopia, it sounds like.
Awesome.
Crime. When will it stop? Audience one will get you there.
All right. That's right. It's crime, and now we do have a new
That was
crime
wonderful.
theme song. That thing is awesome.
I think we should take a moment and just appreciate the work that Andrew puts
Thank
into the
you.
show.
Thank you.
Uh,
I think it's actually
I think-
catchy.
I think this
to be
is
honest with
yeah.
you.
I mean, when I was listening to it, I go, well, "They're describing my rap sheet. What's going on here?" And
Exposing yourself, chicken fights. Yeah.
yeah,
A Richardson man, I believe this is Richardson, Texas, allegedly shot and killed his roommate after the roommate made a rude comment toward him,
I believe
along
it.
with having been a, quote, difficult roommate. What's interesting about this, though, is the guy who shot him was 81 years old, and his roommate was 59. Typically don't have roommates at 81, I wouldn't think. I think something's kind of gone awry from your retirement plan if you're eliciting, I don't know, roommates that tend to be difficult
no, I
at
can,
81.
I
I don't know, man.
I can see it because imagine if you're 80 and you have the house and you're like, "Hey, I'm alone. Does anyone want to live here?"
I see that. I would go the opposite way. I'm thinking, I'm 80, I have the house, leave me the F alone.
No, maybe he needs money. Maybe
That's what I'm saying. Something's gone awry. Now, it does take a certain amount of money to be in a home with other people. It's not necessarily cheap, so maybe he didn't have the funds for that. But I'm thinking if you're lonely, I don't know, go join a axe throwing league or something. But no, this guy had a roommate, 59 years old, Gregory Johnson, and he apparently mouthed off one too many times. And this 81-year-old man said,
he drank
"Gotcha!"
all. He drank all my Ensure.
Took my last Werther's original, damn it.
Yeah. That's funny.
Oh, it is kind of weird. Staying in crime, it was an arrest of biblical proportions. An intoxicated Virginia man broke into a Bible study and took it upon himself to investigate, thinking it was human trafficking.
That's well, he's intoxicated.
Look, man, I have been drunk before, but I don't think I've been Bible study confused as human trafficking drunk. That is next level, man. Maybe it injected some butterfly and got to his head.
Well, I mean, we did talk about those kids in Brazil huffing poop, so anything's possible.
He probably just, look, man, you got to hand it to the guy. He thought he was doing the Lord's work, right? Come on. He thought he was doing a good deed.
He just watched Taken.
Yeah, something like
And
that.
he's like, this is ground zero, man. It's kind of like that, because that story, remember that story, that political story a long time ago about the pizza place? And the guy, like, went crazy thinking that's where the child trafficking was happening. It's like Comet Pizza or something like that.
This sounds familiar.
It happened, like, I want to say when Trump, on his first presidency, I want to say.
Okay.
But then they, what I love about that story is how much, like, he was crazy, clearly. And then they let him out.
No.
And then
He means well.
He recently died
Aw.
because
Someone killed him.
the police shot him because he had a gun. And I'm sitting there going like, huh, I bet those...
He died doing what he loved, though, right, Dick? As you always say, you'd like to die doing what you love.
I mean, I don't know, but when I read that he recently died, I go, there's probably some conspiracy theorists out there still committed to the Comet Pizza, still committed that this guy was right.
Well, David Campbell is charged with breaking and entering, assault, and public intoxication. Wow, man. Well, we did talk about the yoga class where everybody was doing their downward dog position with the lights off. And some guy walked by the yoga, center, looked in and thought that everybody was
Ready for him?
was waiting for the Hail Bop comment. And it was like some sort of mass suicide. You remember this? So he calls the cops. They're like, yeah, no, we're just stretching here, dude.
Yeah.
Resting our eyes. Last story here before the break. This is pretty interesting. I'm going to encourage our onesies, What Up Onesie Nation, to read this story further because there's a lot to it. But an Albuquerque attorney who investigators alleged was at the center of a sweeping corruption scandal, get this, that allowed people arrested for driving while intoxicated to evade conviction has pled guilty to federal charges. It's pretty interesting. So he was running this ring, this lawyer, running this ring with Albuquerque police saying, hey, if you arrest some folks, some more people under DWI, but you give them my name, I can get them off. You guys fail to show up for court.
Then we'll give you $5,000.
I'll give you $5,000. I'll keep the other half. And it was working. But eventually somebody found out, I guess, and he's now in some trouble.
Yeah, that's one of the,
he pled guilty to racketeering, bribery, and 2 extortion.
Is that what
related
racketeering
counts.
means? Because I always wonder what racketeering
I'm going to be
means.
honest, Dick. I do not know what racketeering means.
Me either. Well, every time I see it,
I like to pretend that I do, though.
It's a crime that involves a series of illegal activities carried out to make money. So that's kind of a generic term.
Audience
then.
of one show.
That's a generic term then. Okay, that makes more sense. Because I always told folks if I ever run for office and they're like, hey, what's your inspiration for running for office? I go, I want to know what racketeering is. Because I want to be charged with it. I want to be charged with it.
Because when someone actually says you're guilty of it, I want to know what I'm being guilty of.
I'm like, I still don't understand what you're telling me here. What this reminds me of?
It's a good racket, though. Yes, what does this remind you of?
It reminds me of, I remember not too long ago, I don't know if you remember the ad campaigns in Houston or Texas. They did a thing for DWIs, like, it's going to cost you $10,000.
Sure.
And I'm thinking to myself when I read that.
And you get arrested by a capybara.
Well, and I read that, I go, isn't that extortion? Because they're telling you the price of your charge, and it's like, hey, if you get a DWI, we'll get you off for $10,000. And not in a fun way.
Not clearing the pipes way.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Like, when I saw that, because it's kind of weird that the Department of Public Safety is saying, hey.
I think you thinking that extortion
well, not extortion. That's not the right word.
Is the reason why you don't know what racketeering means. Yeah.
Not the right word. But, you know what I'm saying? It's funny that the system that will arrest you and put you in prison, it's like, hey, DWI, it's a selfish act. It kills people, blah, blah. I mean, totally get it why you shouldn't drive while drinking.
The main reason is.
It's going to cost you $10,000.
Yeah.
And I always laugh.
It is kind of odd.
It's kind of odd. Because I can see a lawyer telling you that. because the lawyer knows the system.
And I'm sure that was a lawyer telling them what it typically costs, and then
I know,
they
but
were
then
just
like, hey,
passing along that information.
well, because do you remember they had an initiative here? I want to say because you've only been around this area for like 10 years, right?
7.
7 years. Okay, so like 10 years ago, they did an initiative for drinking and driving, and they would post these images of like crazy wrecks that happened on the highway.
Oh my!
So
okay.
like when you're coming into the Woodlands from 45, they would have a sign saying like 242 people injured. This accident
Right.
happened right here, and it's just like 3 people dead. And
Jeez.
it's insane. And they did it like every mile or something like that because there's been so many fatalities on 45 in the Montgomery County corridor. And it was I was sitting there going like, that's kind of weird. Like imagine if my daughter died
and
and I'm going to work
every
every day and you're reminded of that every day. That would be insane because they're big pictures.
I think the fact that she's not there is your reminder every day.
Well, no. Well, I mean, he's trying to do butterfly stuff to forget. You know, the butterfly effect. That's what the dad's doing.
That's it. All right, man. It's a good time to take a break. When we come back, we're going to discuss the perils of winning a lot of money, right here on the Audience of One Show.
Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gold Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas Ticket.
And we're back with Audience of One, the second part of the show. And I always do the friendly reminder at this time to encourage our onesies to send us funny articles either through our social media, Audience of One Show, or you can email it, audienceofoneshow@gmail.com. Andrew would love to get it and obsess over it for the week. And then I will finally get it when we start the show because I do absolutely no prep work. So all my jokes are original, unlike Andrew's, where he's working every night in front of that mirror.
Oh my gosh!
Trying to work on his 5 minutes.
My routine, I got to get my routine down and my mannerism just right, my timing and my punchlines. Oh, so much time spent on this show.
We're here every Friday at 10 a.m., part of the morning programming with Lone Star Community Radio. If you don't know what Lone Star Community Radio is, check it out at irlonestar.com. We are a community radio station that is a nonprofit, so we need donations and sponsorships. So if you're interested in supporting the show, visit the show page at irlonestar.com/AOO. That's AOO.
Yeah, if you don't know what IR Lone Star is by now, what's your deal, dude? Seriously, come on.
Kim.
Onesie Nation, mount up.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm making stuff up now.
So I was having a discussion with a buddy, and they had a great sale today at my local meat market. It's Cold Stone or Stone Cold. So which one's the ice cream place?
Cold Stone
Okay,
Creamery,
so
right?
this is Stone Cold. So it's called Stone Cold.
He's a wrestler.
Well, Stone Cold is a meat market in the Cypress area, Clear Lake, League City, and then also now in Conroe.
Austin 360.
And they had $1 brisket patties. So I went there. One thing I noticed, because I've been going there quite like once a week maybe, just to see what they're making. They always make really cool sausages or meats or whatever.
Sausage
But
makes another reference on the show.
Everyone calls me boss there.
Interesting.
And I realized today, I was like, I really like being called boss. Because it was a lot of fun. Like, when I went there, like, everyone was calling me boss. Like, the lady at the checkout, like, hey, boss. And I'm like, and then the guy's like, what do you need today, boss? And then
I don't need anything. I just want you guys to call me boss.
And then the
Makes
owner,
me feel good.
the owner over there is wrapping up. I got 30 patties. So he's wrapping all the patties. Like, I got 30 patties for the boss. And I'm like, they're calling me the boss.
Yeah.
And then one of my buddies, I texted him, I'm like, it's a great feeling someone calling you boss. And he goes, I hate being called boss. And then I realized my name is a nickname. So no one ever gives me nicknames because everyone just calls me Dick. So no one is creative because they're already having fun calling me Dick.
Yes, it is awfully fun to call you Dick.
So they're never going to call me like boss or
Right.
pipsqueak or anything like that.
Okay, yeah. You have a point. You have a
and
point.
I was like, that's why I value having someone call me other than Dick,
Aw.
because
It's great, man. Like that.
it was a nice run-in. I'm going to go back just to
Yeah.
get the boss. What's up, boss? What do you need, boss? And yeah,
Okay.
I think if I was a Fortune 500, like say I'm Elon Musk, because you can't escape this guy now these days.
He's everywhere.
And if I was in his position, I'd be like, everyone's going to call me boss. And that'd be so much fun. Everybody, like even the reporters, even people on Twitter, you call me boss.
So I'm glad we found a moniker for you that you enjoy besides.
Well, it's
Dick.
not specifically boss. It could be other fun nicknames like Champ. That'd be fun. You know, we can call Champ or
Yeah.
you don't think that
It is kind of fun.
Slugger.
It is kind of fun when big guys have names like Snacks or Tiny. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Bamf would be great.
Or like you walk in and you're not a man of stature, and they say, hey, "What's up, big guy?" You're like, "Wait, are you talking crap here?"
Big guy, I like it.
Yeah. So I went to Barnes and Noble the other day.
They're opening up a bunch up here.
Are they?
Yeah, it's really weird. I got a press release.
In the day and age when the brick and mortar bookstore seems to be dying, they are bucking the trend, huh?
What they were trying to sell, because I get a lot of press releases today now.
Do you now?
Well, yeah, because I'm very important. I'm a boss. And one thing I love, and I'll tell you another press release story.
Oh, please. I can't wait to see another
whoever's job,
press release story.
Well, I can't. I read so many, and there's so much information, and it sounds so stupid. I go, I feel sorry for the person who has to write this.
Yeah, sometimes they're rather boring, yes.
Because the guy's like, oh, I got to meet a word count in the press. Because some press releases aren't going to be a paragraph. It's going to be like every single thing you ever want to know. And one of the things about the Barnes & Noble is they didn't really mention that they're selling books. It was more about like they're like, we're creating an atmosphere for people who want to get out of their house and like have a comfortable place to read their books. But they didn't really say our books.
Honey, do you want to go to the Barnes & Noble this weekend? They're opening it. Sure, what is it? I don't know. It's a place where you just hang out, and they call you boss.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, my other press release
Boston
story
Noble.
is I got a notification. If you didn't know that, I think it was on the 18th. It might be today. It's like National Margarita Day
Like
or
a
something.
silver alert? Oh, yeah.
So it's like National Margarita Day.
celebrate that every day.
So Chili's teamed up with Lifetime,
Yeah, they did.
and I'll put it in the description, the trailer.
So I'm assuming you're talking about Chili's the restaurant and Lifetime the TV station.
They're making like a Hallmark kind of movie called like Margarita Holiday, or like it's a margarita. It is.
Yes.
It's a parody. It's totally a parody.
Gotta be.
They're making a joke, but when you read the press release, they have quotes from the actors, and I'm sitting there going, and they try to talk about the most uplifting. Like margaritas are so important to everybody, and I go, this has got to be a joke, but no, it is from Annie, who owns Lifetime's like corporate.
It's kind of like a ghost that gives HJs to people out in the woods.
And
huh?
it's very similar. And but no, it's like I was sitting there going like, they're taking this serious.
It's great.
This is wild.
If they do it right, it'll be funny. But if it is indeed a Lifetime movie, they'll probably screw it up.
But
chances are.
no, it's only 15 minutes long.
Oh, okay. So no, it's got to be tongue
So
in cheek.
it's a joke.
Well, I realized when I
but
went
the
into
press
the-
release wasn't, because it was trying to inform
Oh,
everybody
gotcha.
like
Right,
this is why we're celebrating. They were like, oh, margaritas bring people together, and Chili's does an excellent job of bringing people together and families. I'm like, yeah, so my uncle would get drunk and hit my mom. Or I'm sitting there like, what are we talking about
baby
here?
back ribs.
And yeah, just check it out. I think it's called Margarita something. Like, but the
do
trailer is worth it.
Top notch.
Alone.
Well, I realized when I went into Barnes and Noble that even though I'm not a reader, every time I go into this place, it makes me wish that I was. Because they make all the books look so enticing, and you're just kind of thumbing through them or looking at the covers. You're like, ooh, this one looks good. Wow, that one looks neat. And you know you're not going to read any of them, but it so makes me wish that I was a reader. And all of them say, New York Times bestseller. And I thought, wait a minute, how can all of these books be bestsellers? It seems to me like it's a pretty prestigious thing, but I guess it's not that difficult to be on the New York Times bestseller.
No, I
Because
think
they all say it. I thought it was kind of
I
prestigious.
thought it was paid.
What? Oh, you pay money to get on
I
it?
thought.
I mean, the word bestseller implies that you're selling bestly.
Because I feel like if I was an author today,
hard is it?
I would want to be on Amazon's like most selling list, because that's actually like a data that you can track.
Yeah, right. And well, ostensibly, so is the New York Times bestseller. Someone's got to be tracking it to get on that list, or so you would think.
Maybe I would want an award saying most viewed but not purchased book.
Right? people really pick up this book and thumb through it. Make it a few pages. Yeah, that'd be great. Let's be honest about it. No one's going to finish reading this book.
But I myself am not a reader. The only time I ever like find a book to read, it's because it was inspired by something else I read, and it's like, oh, did you know Sam Shepard wrote all these plays? I'm like, Sam Shepard, the actor.
No, the singer.
He's that sing.
Different guy.
No, I know Sam. You know who Sam Shepard is? The actor,
No, I'm talking about the singer.
the dad from The Notebook.
Okay, don't know that.
Okay, I'm trying to think of other movies.
I'm going to pretend. Oh, yeah.
But
Well,
I
I'm here
didn't know either, so I got inspired, and I was like, I'll read that.
Well, I'm here to tell you that I was caught up in the hiked skirt of the book-selling biz. They lured me in, and I bought a book.
Oh, yeah? What'd you buy?
Yeah, man. I bought a book called
The Bible.
The 90s. No, it's called The 90s. And
Okay.
It's like some... It's about the 90s. Go figure. By Chuck Klosterman, and I've read a couple of pages on it so far. So I'm pretty proud of myself.
Well, okay, so one thing I love is when you go to visit people's houses and things and you see the books
See all
they
their
read.
books, yeah.
And this is a personal story. So when my ex left, I went to the bathroom and I noticed there was her little nook, right? And there was a book. And I look, I'm like, oh, there's a book. It's probably like what she's been reading, when she's taking a dump. And
How to leave your husband in 5 easy steps?
It was even better. It was better. It's called The Art of Not Giving a F.
Oh, I've heard of this
And
book, yeah.
I'm sitting there going like, I had this funny.
I wrote the foreword for it.
Well, because I always got accused of not caring enough, all that kind of stuff in life.
No way.
And I'm sitting there going like, that's probably the funniest image in my mind right now is an ex, like any ex you have, sitting on the toilet, going, how do I not care? How do I not care about this guy?
It would be even funnier if it was how not to give an S, and you read it while taking one.
Because I almost wanted to reach out to her and be like, oh, this is good toilet reading, huh? But yeah, no, I found that book, and I was sitting there going like, some people would read some funny stuff. And yeah.
Well, I'll let you know how my book is. It's kind of like a chronicle of the 1990s from pop culture events and Gen X, kind of growing up, a coming-of-age book. So I'll let you know how it is. Dick, have you ever been behind somebody who isn't familiar with the area clearly, and they're following the GPS, and you might be familiar with the area, and you're following behind them, and suddenly they veer off the beaten path, and you're like, where the heck are they going? But you're following behind them, so you do your due diligence, and they end up going through some circuitous route through like a neighborhood and wrap around, and then turn right back onto the main road where you just were, and you're thinking you could have just gone straight. That happened to me this weekend, and I'm like, does he not know that we could have just gone perfectly straight?
Well, if they don't know, then that's not
fair. Yeah, I know, but it's just clearly it's clear that
one of my favorite.
But you feel like you're obligated to keep following them instead of just like, I know where I'm going.
No,
you end up following like a moron.
Let me tell you, complete opposite. Because again, I perfected the art of not giving an F.
Without reading that book.
There was one time I was meeting a mom of somebody I was dating or whatever, and they told me, they called me and like, hey, my mom's gonna meet you at the studio and she's gonna follow you home. And from the studio to my house is literally one road, and you take one turn, right? Mm-hmm. And I gave her the GPS. I was like, you can follow me. I lost her. She was behind me. Lost her. I pull up. I was like, and of course the woman's at the house, and she's like, "Where's my mom?" I was like, honestly, I don't know what she's doing because it's literally one road, and I didn't turn off that road, so she clearly went on her own and turned somewhere.
And now she's in El Paso.
And now she's somewhere. I felt so powerless. I was like, I don't really know, to be honest. Like, this is kind of in the back road. There's one road. And every other turn is a neighborhood.
Yeah.
So she's probably in some neighborhood that she doesn't know where she is. And I got in so much trouble because the mom's like, you didn't really care that I took the wrong turn. And I go, well, I didn't really think you were going to take a wrong turn.
But the whole point is you're following me.
Yeah, I was like,
I didn't turn.
And I even gave you the.
But I bet you the GPS told her to turn. For whatever reason, I bet it did.
I don't know.
She said, I must follow this GPS.
And that was one of those holes I couldn't climb out of. I was like, oh, I'm the bad guy here?
Yeah, there's no winning that.
And I'm like, I didn't abandon you.
That's
like,
funny,
that's
man.
not fair. Then again,
and she's never been heard from again.
Well, I didn't really care. The art of not giving it. I was like, but yeah, I love that. Like following people and GPS. And
yeah, it was clear that I'm like, he doesn't know. But again, you're the follower in that situation. It's the rules as a follower. You got to follow the guy because you never know. Maybe he or she has found a new route. You're like, well, maybe I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
But no, clearly we ended up a half mile down the road on the main route. Dick, the other day I found myself kind of plopped down in the middle of my bed, not in the normal position where I would normally lay. And I thought,
Was this like an Ambien layout?
an ambient-induced layout? No, it may have been a brown drink-induced lay. I don't know. But
Brown out.
brown out. And I laid down and I noticed, man, this section of the bed is pretty comfy.
Yeah.
And I realized, this isn't where I normally lay. This is the part of the bed that doesn't get laid on very much. When you have two people in a bed, they tend to lay in their own spots. And so I moved over and I kind of felt myself fall into my normal area on the
I
bed.
think it's time to get a new bed.
And it wasn't as comfortable. And I thought, am I going to have to get, or is this telling me that my bed is kind of getting old and am I going to have to get a new mattress?
Because what would scare me are those foam beds now. Like that's the new thing, like Tempur-Pedic or whatever.
Yeah, I've had one
Can
of
you
those
imagine
before.
feeling that feeling in it? Because then the whole idea is it's supposed to like go back to normal.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
And then
It's supposed to, anyways. I had one for a while. The
when it starts smelling like a
the
fart
significant
too.
other. Oh yes, well they come smelling like a fart. The significant other didn't care for it. I seem to remember liking it, but whatever. We had one for a little bit.
I sleep on the floor. I don't really care.
But I hate the process of buying a new mattress. One, they're expensive, way overpriced. Because it's weird. You got to go to the store and you got to lay down on each one of them. Because if you don't, you can't
Well,
accurately
how much
tell.
are they? See, I don't think they're that expensive.
Oh, they range from anywhere from like 600,
Say
700
you get
bucks
a-
all the way to like 5,000. I bet.
Well,
Because if you're just touching
how
it,
long are you
can't
supposed to
tell.
have mattresses?
I think they say until they double in weight from all the dead skin that falls in them
how are
every
you supposed
time a decade.
how are you supposed to weigh it?
I don't know, Dick. I think it's like a decade. Every 10 years, I have a feeling.
All right.
But yeah, you can't accurately feel if you just touch it, so you have to lay down on it. And it's such an awkward process because 10 other people have done that in the last hour. But I think if I were a mattress owner, I would have this plan where you could stay overnight. You could sleep in the mattress store to get a real good idea
bad.
of how your mattress actually
If you
feels.
had, if you had a $10,000 mattress and you had it for 10 years, you're paying 27 cents every day to sleep on it.
Okay. Still seems like a lot of money to spend.
That's more than a quarter.
It is more than a
That's
quarter.
how, that's how you budget
and we're
it.
eliminating the penny anyway, so
Is that really happening?
oh, it's happening, buddy.
So we might have talked about that because I still don't understand. Kind of like the gold coin, because people still take that as currency. So when they say, "Hey, we're just stopping the penny," that doesn't mean they're not going to accept pennies.
No, I think that's exactly what it is. I believe. Well, no, you would accept them, but they wouldn't be required for your purchase. So there would be no total that ends in a 0 or a 5. So if you had 5 pennies to make that, that's fine. They would accept it as currency, but your price wouldn't be $20.93. It'd be $20.95. They would require everything to be at a certain nice round even number, which to me makes sense. Just like being able to sleep overnight in a mattress place. Sorry.
Well,
That would be kind of weird, though, because you're sleeping there overnight. There's like another couple down the way, and they're looking at the Serta.
what do you think of that one?
Yeah, what do you think of that one? And you're over laying down on the, I don't know, the...
like you're like, shut up! I'm trying to brown out.
exactly. Bring a little brown out. You might make a move or two on the wife,
Yeah.
just to make sure you got to test out the
What about the
mattress,
people who order it on the mail in the mail?
Yeah, see, I can't do that, man. You got to be able to test it out. You got to figure out if you like it or not. That'd be weird.
Well,
overnight mattress store.
Yeah.
Oh, can you return a mattress?
Yeah.
So if you buy a mattress and you don't like it a
Yeah.
couple weeks later, have you ever done that? You say it like
Yeah.
you're so confident. Oh yeah, I return mattresses all the time, bro.
Well, I thought that was kind of like
only
Gallery
27 cents a
Furniture's
day.
thing. Like you could return anything. And they'll
So-
come- I imagine that's mattresses too.
Do they sell them as new, you think? Do they tell people if someone's only slept on it for a week?
I bet it's
Do you
not.
think they
I bet
tell
it's
'em?
not even a week. I bet it's like 3 days. You have 3 days to return it.
Okay. You think they tell them? You think they tell people?
I'm looking it up right now.
As new or as is new? I don't know, man. That'd be weird. Testing out the pillow topper on this one.
Okay, so Mattress Firm, which is a well-known chain, they have a 120 night sleep trial that allows you to return or exchange your mattress within 120 nights.
120 nights. That's almost long enough to start making the little dips in the mattress, man.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, if I get a brand new mattress and it's more comfortable in the middle than it is on the edges, I know it's used. I'm just saying.
Okay. Cool.
All right, man. Amazon Prime's videos, Beast Games. I don't know if you were aware that the Beast Games was going on. We may have talked about it before. Well, it has finally reached its conclusion with the largest cash prize in television history being up for grabs. 1,000 contestants battled it out as Mr. Beast, whose real name, by the way, is Jimmy Donaldson, promised to give away a private island, Lamborghinis, and millions more in cash throughout the competition, which had a whopping $79 million budget. Meanwhile, people are still on Family Feud playing for $900 or $25,000 or whatever. No, it's 25,000 split 5 ways or something ridiculous. 20,000. Anyways, the 26-year-old spent $11 million of his own to build Beast City in Toronto, Canada, and gave away upwards of $25 million to contestants throughout the show. However, it was Jeff Allen, known as Player 831, who came out on top and was announced as the winner of the $10 million competition. But of course, after taxes, Dick, that's only $5 million. Okay. And once word got out, what do you think happened on social media? People are mad at Mr. Beast for allowing this guy to have $5 million of taxes taken away from him. And I find this hilarious, as if Mr. Beast, old Jimmy Donaldson there, is responsible for tax law. I have a feeling this is, because Mr. Beast's audience is primarily fairly young. They're probably not in that age where they're paying a lot of taxes and aren't really aware that you have to pay taxes, but they are aware of this game. And just now finding out that, yeah, you win a lot of money, there's going to be a large tax implication. I have a feeling.
Well, taxes are always a complicated thing, and I really enjoy the irony that goes into taxes.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different ways to get taxed. So in reality, that $10 million he gave away, I'm not sure if it was him personally giving it away or it was business, but to accumulate $10 million to give away was already taxed. To accumulate the $10 million.
Correct. It's tax on top of tax. It's like inheritance tax. This money has already been
I think it's
taxed.
great. I wish I came up with that system.
Yeah, it's called the United States government.
I wish I was the United States government.
A bunch of crap is what it is.
I'd love to get
those
checks.
I just find the outrage towards Mr. Beast hilarious here, as if he had something to do with the fact that this guy was going to get taxed. Still walked away with $5 million, man. Good God.
Well, isn't that the kind of joke with the lottery these days, where it's like, is it better to take it in increments or take it a payout?
You always want that lump sum, dog. That way you can invest it.
Yeah, that's what basically someone said. And I was like, you know what?
Wooten Financial would probably tell you that.
Yeah, but see, I would like, it's funny. I like to go against the grain. I would be like, no, I want it in increments so I can budget myself.
Yeah, because I know me, I can't handle it, bro.
Because I mean, I guess you could technically take the lump sum and try to retire. But I feel like you die sooner if you did that. Like if you're retired at 25, it's like...
Yeah, my thought is as soon as
you take it in increments, you're like, hey, I got a cool Christmas gift. What was it? $400,000 every year for the next 20 years?
It definitely has its benefits. In the long run, taking increments, or an annuity as they call it, is probably you're going to make more money that way, but you also run the risk of, getting hit by the proverbial bus and not ever getting to see all of those payouts. Whereas the lump sum, it's yours right away.
You can't put it in a trust
you can
or something?
Get all the hookers and blow you want right off the bat.
Oh, the chicken fights.
The chicken fights, all of it, buddy.
What would you do with your lump sum? What would be your biggest purchase? Like single purchase?
That spider car you were telling me about.
No, I'd go to the moon, dog. I'd be like, yo, Bezos or Elon.
Hold hands with Elon.
I'll pay either one of y'all to send me to the moon $10 million.
I don't even think it costs that much anymore.
I don't know. We got to make a deal.
Dude, you're going to blow your money in one day.
You mean even better than going to the moon? Getting in a sub and going to the Titanic.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
The right way.
Well, I would be very frugal with my money.
Then that's when we make the T-shirt. I survived visiting the Titanic, and on the back it says, "Not these guys."
Too soon.
Is it?
Well, I would be frugal with my money, and I would go to garage sales, because a painting bought at a garage sale in Minnesota is a previously unknown portrait by Dutch artist Vincent van Gogh.
Oh, wonderful! Was that here in the States?
Yeah, it was in Minnesota. I said that mere seconds ago.
I don't.
It's okay. It's all right. This guy apparently went to a garage sale, bought a painting, and I have a picture of the painting there in the story. It looks, like a decent painting. Not something I would have immediately gone, oh, this is worth $10 million. But it turned out to be an original, unknown Vincent van Gogh that I think I said he bought for $50. Which, by the way, $50 is kind of a lot for a painting at a garage sale. I'm thinking most garage sale stuff, you're buying paintings for $2-3. So maybe they thought this was quite a fancy. Maybe it had a nice frame. I don't know. Dick, the frame always dictates the cost of these things.
It's so funny about these scenarios with art, because what I can see happening is you are that guy. It's like, oh, this is gonna look great in my living room, and then somehow someone discovers it's a Van Gogh, and then the Van Gogh museum is like, hey, actually, that's ours.
Yeah, give it.
Me one. And we're like, what? I want it.
Well, what's interesting about this is this painting was made by Van Gogh during his stay at a psychiatric hospital in south of France in 1889. Experts
Good for him.
say.
Is this before the year or
I'm
after
thinking
the year?
it was probably before.
Yeah.
Because afterwards you would. Well, yeah, no, it was probably before. I don't know. That's probably what led him up to. Well, maybe or after. No, you
I have no
go
idea.
crazy, cut your ear off, and then they commit you to a psychiatric ward.
Yeah, that might be the scenario.
I don't know. Measuring, it's a small painting. It was 18 by 16 inches, so it wasn't like it was some massive thing, which is about the size of the, what's the painting? Mona Lisa. Most people think the Mona Lisa is a very large painting, but it's actually fairly small. But yeah, so this
Cool.
guy took home a $50 painting that turned out to be, I think they said $10 million. Dick, did you ever have chicken pox?
I
as a
believe I
child?
did.
Oh, I think you'd know.
I don't how.
I mean, you would remember getting it, unless you got it as like a child.
Yeah, I got it as like a young kid.
Yeah. I don't think people are really getting
like
chicken
preschool.
pox anymore. Yeah, I was probably preschool. I remember it, but I was young. I was probably 4 or 5 years old.
That's a mom question.
It is a mom question. We need
Mary,
to have her on.
you're on the line. When did you
Call
first
her east of the west of the Mississippi, west of the Rockies. You're on. No, I did get that, but there was a thing back in the 70s and 80s known as like chicken pox parties.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
Where it was the thought at the time was, oh, you need to catch chicken pox to be naturally immune from this. So if somebody in the neighborhood had it, it was call all the children over so that we can all get a little pox party going.
We need to have more diseases that are visual.
Yeah, so everybody can see them. It's like a scarlet letter.
Yeah. Because, like, I remember...
Dude, don't get near the pox kid.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You remember what? I interrupted you.
Well, it's like I remember seeing kids with it, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
Bro, that's so cool. Can I get some pox from you?
I already had it, so I couldn't get it.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Well, you know what? The shingles vaccine
And
is
then
still in you.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's what they say. Chicken pox and the shingles is like the same thing, right? And if you've had the
I have
pox,
no
you
idea.
could have the chance of getting the shingles.
I don't know how the world works, man.
Well, the idea was simple. When a neighborhood child contracted chickenpox, other parents would bring their infected children over to the house and expose them to the disease. But doctors were
You
saying,
think they did that to make the
this-
queer go away?
yeah,
Or whatever, queer...
we'll pray the gay out of you.
Yeah, you think they did that?
At the same time, 2 for
No,
one.
it's like, oh, you're going to the correction camp. It's like, we're going to put a bunch of women in this room with you. You're like, what?
Yeah,
I always kind of wonder what those camps were like.
really.
Yeah. Well, anything like
we can
that.
find out, for the show.
Well, it's kind of like those...
We'll send Dick to gay reform camp.
Yeah, that'd be great. No, I always wondered like how those educational camps or whatever, quote, because it's kind of funny to me
Oh, it's funny, all right. Yes.
in a sad way, but it's also like I wonder what kind of curriculum they really kind of like in China. I imagine they have some educational camps.
I don't know how educational has to be as much as you just have to have some willpower.
Well, they call them re-education camps, and so when everyone says that, I'm like, I always wonder,
Are you enjoying this?
what's the curriculum like there? When do you get to have outdoor time? What's going on with that?
Well, it says, while the pox parties provided popular over the decades, health professionals highly discouraged the practice back then and continue to do so now more in modern times, especially with the emergence of swine flu parties back in 2009, which I did not realize that there were swine flu parties. Doesn't quite have the same ring as pox party. Come over and catch swine flu.
Yeah.
Why is it always birds and pigs? What's wrong with them? Oh, I guess cows have mad cow disease.
Well, they're dirty. Birds are really dirty.
Yeah, I guess they are.
Yeah.
Kind of nasty and they crap everywhere. Can you imagine being the first guy to ever hear a parrot talk? God, that would have to have tripped him out, man.
That'd be
Oh
kind
my
of fun.
God, did that bird just say hello? Dude, I must be high AF.
No, I'll
right
be like,
now.
we're best friends now. I can talk. Imagine that one guy's like,
That's what that 81-year-old needed to do was get a parrot.
dude.
Of course, he probably would have blown that thing away faster than that 59-year-old roommate.
Did you ever see that viral video of that guy who had a parrot? I think his name Matilda or something. but it kept screaming. It was like, "You're killing me! You're killing!" The police show up, and this guy's like working in his garage,
He's like, "I don't know."
like working on a car, and they're like, SWAT team's there, and they're like, "Sir, we're looking for a Matilda," and he's like, "What?" He's like, he's like, "We need you to stand up, stand over here. We're looking for this young girl."
Oh, that's my bird. She
And
likes to
he's
watch
like-
Dexter.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, "Oh, you're talking about my bird." The guy, like, it's all on like the little Ring camera, and he's like, that are gonna arrest him for.
I guess the neighbors
kidnapping or-
heard all these voices.
You're
Help me! You're gonna kill me.
That's a good.
No, it
practical
seems
joke.
fake, but possibly could really happen. Well, here is a whale of a tale. Did you see the astonishing footage? And yes, it is in this post, hopefully if it will load, of the moment a kayaker was swallowed by a humpback whale off the coast of Chile for just
There's
a
a
matter
video?
of
There's a
seconds.
video?
There is.
I'm
There's a
trying to
video
load
in
it.
there. But it's pretty crazy. This guy gets swallowed whole by a whale before eventually and miraculously getting spit back out.
So no Jonah.
No Jonah. I was hoping that he'd gone through the entire digestion system and came out the other side. That would have been a better story, but apparently the whale just didn't like the way this dude tasted.
Let's see. It's
Well,
we got ads.
Adrian
There's ads.
Simakis
There's always ads.
Adrian Simakis was kayaking in the Strait of Magellan. Ooh, nice. Last Saturday when the beast emerged from the water. This is so silly. The beast emerged from the water and easily devoured the young man and his yellow kayak, according to the video incidentally captured by his father. Oh my God, who was trailing behind him. That has got to be creepy. You're out there with your kid and all of a sudden, down he goes. He said, "Yes, at first I thought I had died. It was like, of course, a lot of terror because I thought, no, there's nothing I can do." Yes, that is a real quote from old
I
what's
got
his
it.
nuts
I
there.
got it. Oh, dude, that was tight.
Yeah, it's pretty wicked,
Yeah.
right? And he's just sitting there and the whale comes up and goes, "Thank you." Not nabbed him up.
Oh, he got the whole thing
the
too.
whole thing, the kayak, everything.
Dude, that's awesome.
After he was freed from the whale's mouth, his father can be heard telling his son, "Hey, dude, stay calm." But a new fear quickly emerged. "When I came up and started floating, I was scared that something might happen to my father too, that we wouldn't be able to reach the shore in time, or that I would get hypothermia." I wouldn't be worried about any of that, man. That is crazy. He's actually extremely lucky to be alive, and I'm not sure what caused the whale to spit him out because those things are so massive. They could have swallowed him up and not really even thought about it. But
Crap.
what happened?
Another ad. I wanted to show you that there's an angle where he gets
Angle.
spit out, and then like the whale comes right back up, right back down. So imagine coming back up from the whale's mouth, and you just see this giant fin coming right towards you, and you're like, "Oh boy!"
Yes. Yeah, I would be a little freaked out. It says, while whale attacks on humans are exceedingly uncommon, whales collides with cargo ships have been spiked in recent years, which I believe we have talked about, where the whales are just had enough of us humans.
Yeah, that sounds like Free Willy 3 or 4, The Revenge.
The Revenge?
Yeah.
It's a very short movie. Just spit him out after 2 seconds. Yeah, kind of lame. Do you remember Dolly the Sheep?
Kind of like was that the one that was cloned?
That is the one that was cloned. I remember this being a big deal because Dolly the Sheep, I think, made a picture in my high school annual. You know how they'll put like events that occurred, major events, like OJ killed 2 people or something like that, which I believe was also in my high school annual. But I remember Dolly the Sheep making it. And anyway, she was the first clone of an adult mammal produced by British developmental biologist Ian Wilmot and colleagues at the Roslin Institute near Edinburgh, Scotland. The announcement in February 1997 of Dolly's birth marked a milestone in science, dispelling decades of presumption that adult mammals could not be cloned and igniting a debate concerning the many possible uses and misuses of mammalian cloning technology. And the reason this comes up because it was female. February of 1997. Of course, we are now on the, what is that, 28 years ago? My gosh, does not seem that long ago. But yeah, I remember that being a huge thing. Didn't live very long, but it was like, oh my God, what does this mean for society? What does this mean for
Did they not make any more?
I mean, it's the only one I can remember. I'm sure they did. They would have had to.
They don't
right?
tell you because they integrate it into sheep society.
Now we got 3D printing, you know? So like, who really needs to clone? We'll just 3D print everything.
Yeah.
Wonder what she died from. And how did they come up with the name Dolly?
I like it. Dolly's a nice name.
I suppose.
For sheep.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Dolly Parton. Your name's stupid for a human.
It is.
But really, why they had to have made more sheep, right? Just for the heck of it.
It would have had to. But
You can't
you're
just
right. They're not
stop.
gonna-
You can't just make one clone and be like, oh, we're done.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be
Well,
like-
I mean, think about this. If we ever had the technology to go to the moon, do you think we'd just do it once? No, man. We'd be doing it all the time, right?
Yeah. Or we could,
wait.
Or we could be doing it all the time and just not tell anybody.
Yeah, we ain't going to the moon, dude.
How do you know?
Because I know. That'd be crazy if you got to the moon. There's a bunch of clone goats up there.
Like a bunch of skeleton piles.
From
The ultimate mafia hit. No one knows. You're on the dark side of the moon, dog. No one knows.
Well, it said for decades prior to this, scientists had tried and failed to clone mammals from existing adult mammals. Why? Why? That's the question. The repeated failure led scientists to speculate about the significance and the timing of the process of cell differentiation in the developing mammalian. That's a fun word to say. Mammalian
I know you
embryo.
can clone your dog and your pets. I know that for it's like $23,000.
Yeah, but no, you're cloning them from birth though. I think this was like aren't you somehow using their DNA
Yeah,
to
I think that's how
to
they made Dolly.
populate another one? I thought this was like done in a
So you're saying that like Dolly was a all new birth?
yeah, it formed as an adult. I don't know. No, I think it actually.
I
right?
think it had to come from DNA.
Had to come from somewhere.
Something. Yeah, it didn't just
It doesn't just appear out of nowhere,
Yeah.
fully formed and adult sized.
a little bit of sugar, a
That'd be-
little bit of
that'd be
love, and then some wool, and then all of a sudden, boom.
I
we got
think when
Dolly.
you clone your dog, it's not identical, right? Don't
It's
they just
supposed to be
use some of it
identical.
and they just jab it
Not
into
the same
another dog
memories
and
or
they
whatever.
go through the regular
No, I think it's
methods?
I think it's
I think what we're finding out here is I don't know anything about cloning your dog.
which doesn't surprise me.
Which also means I'm going to do this as a segment next week.
Yeah,
You know this,
I
right?
kinda- well, no, if anything, onesies, give us $23,000 and let's clone one of our dogs.
I feel like we've talked about this actually, right?
we might have.
I don't know. This is what happens after you do the show for a certain length of time. I don't know what we've talked about.
What dog would you clone?
Man, I mean, my last dog was pretty sweet. She didn't like other dogs. She was pretty vicious there, but she was super sweet. I don't know that
See,
I clone her though.
I don't think
like
you're
to
not
think,
cloning the personality. It's gonna be a completely different dog.
No, well then what's the point of the clone?
I
there?
don't know.
Let's just get the same breed, same thing. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
No,
I mean they're expendable, so they're animals. Who cares?
Well, I mean, you asked me, so
No, I wouldn't clone anything.
nah, me neither. I'm not into that. Give me an original. Give me a Van Gogh.
Yeah, I think if I like ran over a dog, I'd clone it, and then I'd be like, "Hey, there's your dog," and I run over it again,
Just to be mean.
just to be mean. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, we gotta be wrapping up here pretty soon, my man.
Awesome. Quick hit here at the end of the show. Dick, do you know who Brian Schlickner is?
No, I don't.
Well, he is the man who holds the world record for the world's largest or widest, I should
Wow,
say,
his tongue is
tongue.
big.
His tongue measures a whopping 8.6 centimeters across. Quick, Dick, how long is 8.6 centimeters? I don't know. 3.8 inches, basically the same width as an iPhone. Looks wider than that to me, but we're showing some pictures of him. This looks really, really weird, man. This guy's tongue looks like it is way too big for his mouth. But ironically, it must be genetic because his daughter, Emily, who is 14 years old, is not that far behind him and has a tongue that measures 7.3 centimeters, and they hold the record for the widest, she holds the record for the widest female tongue, while her father owns the man's crown.
It does look fake.
It doesn't look real,
It
man.
does look fake.
I like how they're licking a huge envelope.
Yeah.
That's so great. That
Her-
wide-ass tongue.
Her might look real, but his just doesn't look
I know your
real.
first thought is she single? But Dick, she is 14 years old. So
That's-
let's
I
keep
did
those
not
comments
say anything along those
to
lines.
yourself, please.
Along those lines. But yeah, great show. Great quick hit. I like it. Widest tongue, not longest.
Just
But
widest. And you know what? Let's do a favor to the onesies. Let's drop in that It's Crime song at the end of the show
Oh, I
and
gotta
just
do
let
that.
it play.
You want me to do
let
that?
it play.
You want me to- why don't you tell me that?
No, I mean, you can put it in afterwards.
No, I'm not doing.
You don't have to fade it in now. I mean, you could just drop it in afterwards.
I'm not going to fall for this. All right, we're
on the fly.
yeah.
All right,
I don't
onesies,
do on the
we'll
fly.
see you
dog.
next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Shootings, murder, and petty theft. Exposing yourself, what else is left? Hotel squatting and stealing cheese. Chicken fights, oh yes please. Crime, Where will it stop?